Hello everyone and welcome. In this video we will be reviewing how to use Application Programming Interfaces, or APIs, to export data from the FireMon Security Intelligence Platform. An Application Programming Interface allows two distinct software applications, often from different organizations, to communicate with each other. For example, if you have a website for your business and you want to display your shop's address in your website, you can use Google's API to embed Google Maps within the website. In this way, API calls allow software applications to utilize a large amount of outside functions while remaining quick and lightweight. The Security Intelligence Platform contains a huge volume of data, all of which is viewable from the various FireMon GUIs. Examples of the data available to you in the GUIs are FireMon System Information and Settings, Device Inventory and Health Status, Change and revision details, usage data, assessment and control results and settings, and traffic flow analysis results. All this information and more is readily available to you in the Security Intelligence Platform GUI either through dashboard views, reports, or SQL queries. Because every function of the FireMon GUI relies on an API endpoint to populate dashboards and queries, it is a simple process to obtain the same data in a format usable by other tools by using those same APIs. There are three types of data export available via the FireMon API. The first is paged search, where data is exported in JSON format, but elements are broken into pages of fixed size. This allows the data to be iterated through and reducing processing time or allowing focus on specific parts of the export. The next available export type is stream, where all data is exported via a single API call in JSON format. This is the benefit of reducing the number of API calls to one, but can potentially cause delays if large amounts of data are being exported at once. Finally, data can be exported in CSV format. This outputs the requested data in the form of a standard CSV file. Note that not all data types are exportable via CSV. APIs can be accessed in a variety of ways. Three such common ways are through third-party tools such as Postman, curl commands directly from your server CLI, or directly from the FireMon API reference page. In this video, we will focus on use of APIs directly from the FireMon API reference page. The FireMon API endpoints are documented in the administration module. You can view the model data schema and parameters for every API call and perform a test run on each endpoint. To view the API documentation from the administration module, click on the Help drop-down and select API Reference. From the API reference page, we can browse APIs based on FireMon module that they belong to or grouped by functional type. By clicking on the different groups, we can see the individual API calls associated with each, such as application or assessment. There will typically be an individual API for each type of data format that is being exported. For instance, in the SQL section of APIs, we can see that there are paged search APIs, stream APIs, and CSV export APIs. In order to better navigate FireMon's APIs, you can filter the APIs in the API reference page by tag. To do so, click on the text box at the top of the API reference page and enter the tag of the APIs you wish to search for. For instance, if I wanted to only see APIs related to SQL queries, I would type in SIQL into the text box. This shows me the SQL query group, as well as all of the associated SQL APIs. Let's now take a moment to look at some practical examples of data export using FireMon's APIs. Suppose that I have been asked to provide a device list from FireMon to be imported into an in-house inventory system. I can see all of my devices from the administration module, but I can only export them via HTML or PDF. Neither format is suitable for any sort of automated import, So instead, I decided to export this data via API. From the API reference page, I navigate to the device section and expand to see my list of APIs. The API I'm looking for happens to be the first in the list. Expanding that out, I can see that it is the API to get a paginated list of all devices. Here I'm presented with some options. I'm required to enter my domain ID, which will always be 1 unless I'm an MSP customer. I can choose the specific type of devices to output. I can sort the devices, and I can select the page size and the page number to begin the output. Additionally, I can add search parameters. I want to keep it simple, so I'm just going to enter a domain ID of 1 and click Execute. This device inventory API call has outputted several things. The first is the curl command that would be used if I were executing this API from the command line and not the API reference page. The next is the server response code. This is a standard HTTP response code and can be used for troubleshooting. Finally, I see the response body. This field is the actual data export in JSON format that I'm looking for. Here I can see that I have a total of 4 devices being exported, the page size as well as page number, and the number of devices exported on this individual page. I can see the backend data for each device in my inventory, including high-level elements such as device name and management IP address. But I can also see lower-level elements such as data collector group name, data collector group ID assignments. Likewise, I can see things such as device pack information and usage and change regex data. I also have the option to download this JSON data to a file by clicking the download button. This will output the data in a standard text file. Likewise, I can click on the clipboard icon to copy the data to my clipboard. Next, let's look at exporting data from a SQL query, both in CSV format and JSON. Here I have a SQL query that shows me all rules with an action of accept and that have a service of any. First, I'm going to copy my query to my clipboard. Next, I'll navigate to the API reference page. In the SQL section of the API reference page, I open up the SecRule Export API. Here I see that I have a field for my SQL query. I'm going to paste that here. You can see it's all right there, and click Execute. This generates the curl header just as before, but it also generates a download file link. By clicking on this, I'm going to download the CSV output of this API query. Opening that up, I can see that I now have the same rule information exported in CSV format as I did in Security Manager. Now I want to see the same data as pure JSON output. The reason for this is that JSON outputted from FireMon will consist of significantly more information than can be viewed in a CSV or Security Manager file. So first I'll navigate to the SecRule and Stream API. Opening that up, I'll once again paste in my search query and click Execute. This will take several seconds as we are putting significantly more data. Now that my query is completed, I can see that I have generated a significant amount of JSON data that represents those same security rules seen in both the CSV and Security Manager. A good portion of this data is only visible on the back end and can thus only be seen using JSON. I now have the option to export either to a text file or copy to my clipboard. Via API, you are limited to accessing only that data that you have permission to view. These permissions are the same as the ones set for your user in Security Manager. This means that you cannot use APIs to bypass any restrictions that have been put into place about what you are able to view. For instance, if you use an API to make a rule SQL query against all devices, but only have permissions to view certain device groups, then the result would only return rules from the devices that you are allowed to see. I hope you have found this overview of data export using FireMon APIs educational. For additional information, please consult the Administration User's Guide or the FireMon User Center. Thank you. Have a good day.